No, this was supposed to be the Meghan Markle comeback moment. The big, glossy, America's sweetheart with a glass of rosé daytime TV redemption tour. Picture it, Meghan perched elegantly on the Drew Barrymore show couch, a chilled blush wine in hand, sharing a little laugh, a little girl talk, and a whole lot of product placement. Her team had planned this like a military operation. We're talking full-on PR war mode. Branding decks thicker than a Vogue September issue, market analysis, pre-approved talking points, even a staged wine tasting segment. The star of the show, her brand new lifestyle wine label, Rosé as Ever, pitched as the drink of empowerment, elegance, and everything Meghan wanted to project again. The goal was simple, make Meghan relatable again, and Drew Barrymore in Meghan's mind was the golden ticket. After all, Drew wasn't exactly Barbara Walters grilling politicians. She'd built a daytime empire on warmth, empathy, and that big-hearted Hollywood girl next door energy. If Oprah was the queen of tell-all confessions, Drew was the cozy bestie with a mug of tea. So Meghan's camp thought this would be a slam dunk. An easy yes, a safe space, except that's not what happened. When Meghan's reps sent the pitch, they didn't just get a polite pass, they got a cold, quiet number. No public drama, no carefully worded statement, just a firm, final, behind-the-scenes rejection that threw Meghan's media strategy straight into the shredder. Here's the thing about Drew Barrymore. She might seem like she's all sunshine and cinnamon rolls, but behind that cozy persona is a brand protector who plays the long game. When Meghan's name came up in the show's internal meetings, the temperature reportedly dropped. No squeals of excitement, no, oh my gosh, yes, just a heavy pause. And the concern wasn't about selling wine or even promoting alcohol on daytime TV. The real red flag? Meghan herself. Or more specifically, the storm cloud of baggage that follows her into every room. Producers instantly started asking, would Meghan hijack the appearance to rehash old grievances? Would it become a carefully staged PR stunt instead of an organic interview? Would Drew's show get dragged into Meghan's ongoing battle with public perception? This wasn't paranoia, it was pattern recognition. In industry circles, Meghan has developed a reputation, one that makes producers sweat, for controlling every second of an interview. Retakes, edit approvals, conversation steering, you name it. That's fine for a pre-taped docuseries, but Drew's magic is in spontaneity, authentic laughs, unscripted tears, real, raw moments. Bringing in someone who treats media like a chessboard? Risky. Still, Meghan was blindsided. She thought she had the emotional ace up her sleeve, Princess Diana. Here's where things get really awkward. Meghan's team leaned hard into the Diana connection, knowing Drew once met the late princess and even kept a photo from that moment. They thought it would be the perfect sentimental bridge, but instead of melting hearts, it landed like emotional blackmail. Sources say the air in the room shifted. Meghan was framing it as women lifting each other up, but to Drew's team, it felt manipulative, and if there's one thing Hollywood veterans spot instantly, it's when they're being played. The result? No counteroffer, no let's revisit this later, just a clean, quiet door slam. And in Hollywood, silence isn't empty, it's deafening. This rejection didn't stay in one boardroom, oh no. It started trickling through Hollywood's infamous whisper network, the invisible grapevine where publicists, producers, and booking agents trade warnings in low voices over cocktails. And once Meghan's name hit that circuit, it started triggering hesitation. Rooms she wasn't even in began folding their arms. Two other major talk shows, The Kelly Clarkson Show and The View, reportedly passed without blinking. Same concern, too much drama, too unpredictable. The fear wasn't about the wine, it was about losing control of the narrative, the set, the headlines. What made the whole thing worse was Meghan's next move. Nothing. Usually when a star gets passed over, they pop up somewhere else. A podcast, a red carpet, an Instagram blitz, just to keep the buzz alive. But Meghan vanished. No interviews, no wine-tasting photo ops, no talk show circuit, just a blank space where the momentum should have been. And in an industry obsessed with perception, that silence screamed one thing: rejection. Soon, the questions started, not from fans, but from distribution partners. Why isn't Meghan doing press? Is the brand losing steam? Is she being frozen out? When you're launching a celebrity product, especially one wrapped in your personal brand, the optics matter as much as the taste. And right now, the optics were bad. Behind closed doors, Meghan's PR team went into panic mode. They started leaking soft stories to friendly outlets, little whispers about how she was focusing on international press or preparing a much bigger campaign. The idea was to make it look like the Drew Barrymore snub was part of some grand, strategic master plan. But here's the problem. Hollywood insiders know when someone's being iced out, and in this business, you don't need a press release to send a message. The coded signals are everywhere. 1 rejection, bad luck, 3 rejections, that's Exile. And Meghan's exile was starting to look very, very real. If the whispers weren't enough, the silence from Meghan's old allies sealed the deal. Ellen DeGeneres, who once brought her on for silly skits and giggles, passed without much explanation. Oprah Winfrey, who handed Meghan her post-royal megaphone in that bombshell interview, nowhere to be found. No public support, no Instagram nod, not even a subtle wine shout-out. And in Hollywood, where even A-listers shamelessly promote each other's candles, makeup lines, or pet food, that kind of silence is louder than a scandal. It was becoming clear Meghan's inner circle wasn't just shrinking, it was going into hiding. Here's the kicker. The wine itself wasn't the problem. Rosé as Ever had all the makings of a hit, sleek packaging, a female empowerment backstory, and a decent flavor profile. What it didn't have was the one thing you can't manufacture: likability. Celebrity products live and die by the audience's desire to buy a piece of your life. Right now, Meghan's public image wasn't selling aspiration, it was selling tension. With daytime TV doors closing, Meghan's team pivoted hard. Out went the big network pitches, in came niche podcasts, online wine reviewers, and curated influencer dinners. But here's the reality. None of those have the reach or credibility of a national talk show debut. Without that mainstream splash, Rosé as Ever started losing its shine before it even had a chance to sparkle. Distributors noticed, some delayed purchase orders, others started poking at contract terms, a few flat out backed out, not because of the product, but because of the personality attached to it. And that's when Meghan's name, once an asset, started turning into a liability. Launching a celebrity wine label is not a cheap hobby. Meghan had already poured millions into vineyard partnerships, custom bottle molds, high-end photo shoots, and a stacked marketing team. Without the free, high-visibility exposure that a Drew Barrymore slot could have given her in just 10 minutes, there was only one way forward: paid advertising. Big paid advertising. Her team started looking at major digital campaigns, glossy full-page spreads in lifestyle magazines, even billboards. But the math was brutal. PR experts estimated she'd have to spend 3 to 4 times her planned budget just to match what one Drew Barrymore interview would have done organically. That's when the dream started to wobble. What Meghan had envisioned as her goop moment, her smooth pivot into lifestyle mogul territory, was starting to look like an expensive miscalculation. And as if the budget crisis wasn't enough, the industry chatter kept getting nastier. Producers swapped stories over cocktails, tales of Meghan storming off sets over minor script disputes, of her team constantly interfering with creative direction, of lighting being changed to flatter her on camera. These weren't new rumors, but now they were sticking. And in Hollywood, once you get stamped with that unshakable label, difficult. It follows you everywhere. Suddenly, Meghan's name wasn't sparking curiosity. It was sparking eye rolls. True to form, Meghan tried to fight back the only way she knew how: by controlling the narrative. Her team floated stories blaming timing conflicts, hinting she was turning down interviews by choice, even suggesting Drew Barrymore's team had fumbled the pitch. But here's the fatal flaw. In Hollywood, the public can smell spin, and when a comeback requires humility and grace, deflection only makes the damage worse. And so Rosé as Ever stumbled forward, not with a bang, but with a whimper. A few boutique shops agreed to stock it. Some curious fans tried a bottle out of loyalty, but without that big national buzz, it was just another face on a crowded wine shelf. The empire Meghan had envisioned slowly faded into a quieter, harsher reality. Questions about what the whole venture had cost: financially, reputationally, and emotionally. Even her closest advisors started whispering the unthinkable. Was it time to step back? Was the hustle still worth it? Were the doors finally shut for good? Because in this town, when Drew Barrymore says no, and then no one else says yes, that's not just a missed opportunity, that's a message. And Meghan Markle, for all her ambition, had just learned that message the hard way. Meghan's team knew they had to fill the silence somehow. The plan? Build an Instagram fantasy around Rosé as Ever. Carefully staged shots appeared. Meghan in sunlit gardens holding a wine glass, tables dripping with roses and charcuterie boards, dreamy filters making everything look like a Nancy Meyers movie. That silence was surgical. No messy headlines, no "we passed on Meghan" soundbites, just a clean internal decision that left Meghan with no villain to point at. The narrative wasn't Drew slammed Meghan. It was Meghan didn't get booked. And in Hollywood, not getting booked is the bigger humiliation. By the time the dust settled, Rosé as Ever was limping into shelves without the one thing every celebrity product needs at launch: buzz. A handful of boutique wine shops stocked it. Loyal fans bought a bottle or two. But there was no viral moment, no talk show push, No celebrity endorsement from her powerful friends. It just existed. And in a market saturated with celebrity alcohol brands, from Kendall Jenner's tequila to Post Malone's rosé, just existing is the kiss of death. Here's the cold reality. In Hollywood, when someone like Drew Barrymore closes the door, others don't just watch, they follow. And Meghan's team could spin, leak, and stage all they wanted, but the message was already out. The Drew rejection wasn't about one wine segment. It was about Meghan's place in the industry. Friends weren't promoting her, talk shows weren't booking her, distributors were hesitating, and the audience, the one she needed most, wasn't buying what she was selling in either sense of the word. So here we are. Millions invested, months of planning, and a product that should have been her grand rebrand, now reduced to another cautionary Hollywood tale. Because in the end, this wasn't just about wine. This was about access. In this town, if you can't get the right rooms to open their doors, you don't just lose sales, you lose relevance. And Meghan Markle, for all her calculated strategy and royal sparkle, just got a brutal reminder. Relevance isn't bought, it's invited. And when the invitations stop coming, that's the real crisis. That's the real crisis.